Ladies and gentlemen, boys and berries, it's me, Bradley G, here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. We're having snow up here today, so driving is kind of tough. So our friend Tom, he's in the green room right now. I think he's knocking the snow off of his boots. He's got some of that digital, virtual snow. I'm just kidding, because I think he's down in Florida, and they don't have snow down there that I know of. But let's go find him. Where is he? Where's my friend Tom? Tom. There you are. Hi.
Thank you for the introduction. No, there's no snow today. I don't have any snow in Florida.
Not in Florida. I know. No, Florida has been coming up in my consciousness a lot lately. I mean, last time this happened was I live in Minneapolis, and for some reason, Asheville, North Carolina kept popping into our heads. So we moved out there, and I just had a mild stroke, one of those TIA, they call them. So hindsight, that's where I was supposed to go to heal. I don't know why I was being called to Asheville, but now Florida is popping up all over the place. So I might come down and visit.
Okay, please do so.
So I looked at a little bit here. I'll give a little bit of it's Tom Paladino. He is a researcher and humanitarian seeking to make a difference in the world by providing people with education and tools to restore optimal health and by helping enhance their quality of life. That's honorable, for sure.
Thank you.
Have we interviewed before?
No, we've not.
Because I've seen your stuff before.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it out there, to be quite candid with you.
Yeah, well, it's tough these days because everybody on the planet's trying to get it out there. So we got to make more noise, Tom.
Well, we do. I would hope that this technology catches on soon.
Sometimes it's the back of the bus kind of stuff. The pharmaceuticals tend to get, they got commercials all over the place, and
right.
Big Pharma seems to capture the airwaves. So how long have you lived in Florida, Tom?
I've been here for a dozen years now, 12 years.
Okay, so you got deep roots.
Well, my wife's here. That's why I'm here. If we ever moved, I'll let you know. But it's a great place to live. They're nice people in Florida.
Yeah, some people don't realize it, but there's a central time zone in Florida.
Yeah, you're right. That's the Pensacola region. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah,
that works. So let's talk a little bit about this scalar light technology. It's I read something on about this where they have the ability to actually use the energy to grow plants in dark.
Yes.
Mind-boggling, yes. But I totally get it. It's an energetic rather than a thermal dynamic thing.
Exactly. Energy is fundamental, and therefrom all of nature follows. You're right. I'll expand upon that.
Please.
My predecessor is a man by the name of Galen Hieronymus. He worked with scalar energy instruments. I have scalar energy instruments. Now, by that, we're defining that as quantum energy, or some people might call that 0-point energy. It's not electricity. So getting back to what you mentioned, Galen Hieronymus grew plants in the dark in his basement with this scalar energy instrument. He took an antenna, a scalar energy antenna, he affixed it, surmounted that on the top of his roof, and he ran a copper wire from the antenna into his basement where the terminus, the end point was the potted plants. And he covered the windows in his basement. And by way of this invention, and by way of the application of this energy, he was able to grow plants in the dark. Now, what does that prove to me? That proves to me that the primary energy behind everything, including photosynthesis, is scalar energy, not electromagnetic energy. And that electromagnetic
word you use? It's scalar energy?
Scalar energy, or that's the term I use. Some people call it 0-point or consciousness. I call it scalar energy. Some people call it Tesla energy. So the long and short of the story is, by that experiment, it proves to me that scalar energy is the animating force of all life, including responsible for photosynthesis. Now, that means the electromagnetic spectrum has a secondary effect, but it was not the prime driver here. It was not the primary energy that grew plants in the dark.
That's pretty. That's interesting. My brain just goes because I got a background in magic
Yes,
illusion. So
yes,
that's the way my brain functions. It goes behind the curtain, kind of like the Wizard of Oz thing, and sees how things are. The only reason we need heat is so the plants don't freeze.
yeah.
They could actually grow without the sun. That's
Exactly,
mind-boggling.
exactly. It's incredible what Hieronymus achieved. And I'm trying to follow in his footsteps, and I wish the world would start taking note of this energy, scalar energy. It's free energy of the sun and the stars.
Well, I think it kind of is with the Tesla kind of thing going on, and people like I studied some of the seed of life stuff and how that replicates, and then it got into something very complicated where it uses that shape. It's called a torus, I think,
Yes,
the
totally.
torus
Yes,
energy.
yes,
And there is perpetual energy. I mean, everything is energy, so it's flying around. You just got to figure out how to capture it. And it sounds like you've got some instruments to measure it, capture it.
yes. Capture it. That's the precise fact of the matter. I have a scalar energy instrument that can capture, that can harness this scalar energy from the sun and the stars. And again, I want to make this very clear. This is not electricity. So this is not kinetic energy that I have achieved. I'm tapping into the kinetic energy of the universe. Now, what does that mean in plain English? The universe is specifically the sun and the stars provide the power. The new power plant is the universe, or specifically the sun and the stars. Now that really should set this world aflame with passion and desire to learn more about this energy. It's free energy. It's from the sun and the stars. There's no pollution. There's no radioactive decay. We should be using this in our homes today. Had we have listened to Nikola Tesla, our world would have been much different.
Well, I think a lot of people, they're stuck in their thinking, and it's hard for them to get outside of that digital left-right brain thinking, and they think about, okay, it's got to be an atom, and then what about that space between the atoms, that nothingness? Because that's what everything really is, and
See,
that's, to me, it's more the consciousness kind of energy.
yes, that's the instructions. That's the consciousness. And sadly, some people just concentrate on the electron and the proton. Well, by the way, the electron and the proton are not fundamental. They come and go. You can, if you will, disassemble an electron. It's been proven. Long story short was, what is fundamental? To me, the energy from the sun and the stars, that is the fundament of the universe, scalar energy. So if we want to really have command, control over nature, you have to go back to the cause, which is scalar energy.
I call it cosmic soup.
Yes. Yeah.
all that stuff that you don't understand. I mean, some people go, oh, that woo-woo stuff and the chi and energy and all that. But I mean, I can feel it. I mean, okay, call me crazy, but I can feel.
Many people can. Yeah. So what many cultures have accepted through centuries of meditation is chi, prana, om, consciousness. Tesla and Hieronymus, scientists, have developed scalar energy instruments that control chi, prana, om, consciousness. So this is not hyperbole. There are instruments that can control this spectrum of energy.
So it's sort of my brain. I'm a Gemini, so I work both sides. So I'm listening to what you're saying. The other side is processing what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
But like with a jet engine, it's got that. I think it's called a venturi, where it narrows it down and increases the energy flow of the combustion.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Somehow there needs to be something like that that'll take that consciousness and put it through a consciousness venturi and propel that consciousness out. That could be wild.
In character, a scalar wave is a double helix. And so that gives rise to the toroidal concept, to the concept of the vortex, the concept that that center point, that rotating energy will produce at the very core tremendous energy. That's the driving force behind a tornado. Why do we have tornadoes? It's circulating scalar energy. And at the very core of that tornado, it's destructive power.
We know about those up here.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure you do.
Tornadoes. We had a big one in 1965. Two of them, actually. I remember them very well. And they're the weird kind of thing, like the sky is just there. And then all of a sudden it gets into that the energy starts flowing and it pinpoints down and just demolishes whatever it touches.
Yes, and that's the power of a vortex. That's a scalar energy example. The only thing that could drive a tornado would be scalar energy. That's a great example of a toroid or
speaking of which, when we pop this is the right website, scalarlight.com, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
Perfecto. That's how people can learn more about it. Is it actually light, or does it come into like the black hole kind of thing where it's dark light?
It is light. It is light / energy. I believe it's divine light from God. I believe it's the initial energy of the sun and the stars. I believe electricity and magnetism are a subset, a derivative of scalar energy. And if that's the case, then scalar energy drives a sun, including a sun that is perhaps imploding because it's going through a cycle. You even look at these black holes. Well, still, there's a great deal of energy in a black hole. What provides that constant, that perpetual energy for a black hole? It has to be scalar energy. It cannot be electromagnetic energy. Electromagnetic energy decays, so to speak. It experiences entropy. So any star, any pulsating star, any quasar, even a black hole has to be commanded by scalar energy.
So it's sort of burning itself up and then consuming itself again.
I would say this: scalar energy never experiences entropy, so it never burns up and never decays. It goes through cycles, and this is what hopefully I can prove someday. All stellar activity, a star never ceases to produce scalar energy. It might go through a cycle. Even a black hole is still a tremendous amount of perpetual scalar energy.
Some of that stuff just blows my mind when you get into that. It's like again, our digital brains, we function okay left and right, but there's that thing in the middle. This is what, for a while, when I was a young kid, I was an atheist. There's no such thing as a God. And then I grew up a little bit and I go, it's got to be something other than me. There's all this stuff. It's got to be something. And then I started believing that there was another being. And it was in 1998, I turned 40 and my business all collapsed. And I remember I had this situation where I was like praying. And that's when all of a sudden I realized the Christ thing. I went on a Christian, I'll call it a fad for a while, because I'm like a new age Christian. But all of a sudden I realized that there's me, and then there's the all that is, and there's that bridge. Oh, that's what they mean by Christ. That's the bridge between it. And that's where, when we're thinking of this logic stuff, then you get into the emotional stuff. You got to get both those things out of the way and get into this cosmic soup stuff. And that's where the information comes in, for your ideas and things.
You've heard the term consciousness. You've heard the term Akashic record, meaning or the Alpha and the Omega. So there is a body of knowledge, a universal body of knowledge. Well, what creates that universal body of knowledge, and what carries it? What can propagate it throughout the universe? Well, I believe it has to be non-physical. Scalar energy is non-physical. I believe it has to pervade the entire universe. Scalar energy fits that bill. It transcends time and space, and it can never decay, can never experience entropy, because you always have intelligence, so you always have to have the light, the energy, to carry that intelligence. Well, scalar energy does not experience entropy, so scalar energy checks off all the boxes. So what is my point? The intelligence of the universe is scalar energy. The consciousness of the universe is scalar energy. The Akashic record, the Alpha and Omega, the omnipresence of God is found in this scalar energy dimension.
So the scalar energy is almost like the catalyst that pulls all this stuff through, and it's sort of omniscient.
It is omniscient. It has to be everywhere. One of the theories that I have, in order to have a universe in perfect communication, instantaneous communication, you need a perfect information system. You need an instantaneous information system. Scalar energy is the only energy that fits that description. Electromagnetic energy is not instantaneous. It cannot it cannot communicate instantaneously.
Yeah, it's got to do the back and forth toggle thing.
Yes, that's why you have an oscillation. Yeah, very good.
So
I'm going to make this very clear to your audience. Probably the greatest scientist who ever lived, Nikola Tesla, that's my opinion. Tesla had two careers. Initially, he worked with AC electricity. He's the father of AC electricity. Later in his life, he dropped electricity. A lot of people don't realize that. His inventions later in his life were not electrical inventions. He was no longer interested in AC electricity. He was working with radiant energy, which is a synonymous term for scalar energy. So Tesla saw that the energy of the stars was the new technology. It was the power plant that he worked with. And if you look at his two towers, Wardenclyffe Tower and another tower in Colorado Springs, there's no moving parts. There's no electrical wires. There was no substation leading to or from those towers. What were those towers? He harnessed scalar energy from the stars. Those were free energy towers.
Well, why did he put it in a tower?
He had a tower that was surmounted by a copper dome. Apparently that copper dome, that hemispherical shape, could capture and could coalesce the scalar wave.
So it's a matter of isolating it from other stuff.
Yes. Yeah. As I saw it. Why would you go to the expense of having a copper dome that would surmount a tower, a wooden tower? Nonetheless, I look at his inventions later in life. There were no wires. It was wireless. He was not using an armature. Okay, there was no turbine. There was no kinetic movement. His instruments, his inventions were no moving parts. So where did he generate the kinetic activity? It wasn't from an armature. It was from the stars. The stars are the kinetic energy.
Yeah, it's really I don't know. I love talking about this kind of stuff, and it ends up being one of these things like when you get into conversations with people that are non-believers and stuff like that, and then eventually you get to the point of just agreeing to disagree.
Yeah.
But you can't like this is sort of a side thing. I go to this one group, and there's this atheist in the group, and this atheist thing I don't understand. And I'm not a big religious guy, but the idea of saying that there is no God, if there is no God, then what are we talking about? How can you deny the absence of your topic? And that's kind of where this goes with, we know that this energy is here because the stuff is here.
You're right.
And it decays, it goes away. The leaves fall off the trees and then they turn into fertilizer and an acorn falls and it grows. How the hell does that happen? It's miraculous. It's that energy.
There has to be an intelligence that pervades the universe, that keeps everything in sync. Because every molecule in my office is communicating with every molecule in your office. That's scalar energy. You have to have an infinite intelligence that allows everything to intercommunicate instantaneously.
And the planets zooming around the sun and
Yes.
the moon zooming around the earth and making sure they don't bump into each other. And
yes, otherwise you'd have chaos. It has to be a coherent system. And that, I'm a Christian, that can only come from God. That can only come from God. Who could master the universe in such a consummate fashion?
Pop that thing back up there again in case people are late. They can peek right there and see this is the website. And you got a lot of information up there in different, you got a products tab of different things that they could look into.
Yeah. ScalarLight.com is our website. When I work with these scalar energy instruments, I work to benefit quantum health in people and animals. Now, this is not biological. It's informational. And it's so out of the box that when I work with people, I work with a photograph of a person. This is my photo. People will email me a photograph, and a photograph has quantum energy or scalar energy attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
So a scalar energy instrument can work through a person's photograph and send them energy, scalar energy. It's non-physical scalar energy that enters into their body, their quantum body. It's not a biological process. There's nothing physical about this. It's a new science.
Yeah, there's got to be some kind of information that when I look at that, I see a blue tie and you see a blue tie, and we have an agreement that there's a blue tie there. There needs to be information to let us know that that was a blue tie.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And if we're working with this infinite intelligence, when I place my photograph inside an instrument, a scalar energy instrument with infinite intelligence will understand what I need. So, what am I saying? The universe is holographic. I can bilocate. I can be in two places at once. I can be here in the flesh as a human being, and then I could be at a distance where my photograph is, which is my exact copy. My photograph is my bilocated copy.
Or be in all places at once.
Yes. You may have heard that there's some Catholic saints who could bilocate. They could be in two places at once. You cannot explain that by any other theory than that of scalar energy, in which you can indeed bilocate. You can be two places at once, or as you said, you can be everywhere.
Well, some people look at that and go, well, you can't prove that. Well, I guess I can't, but doesn't mean that it's not possible. I mean, Deepak Chopra, right?
Yes, indeed. Yeah, he's ventured along quantum energy. Yes,
I went to an event, and there's more to the story. We could do it on another episode or something, but how he came about. But it was a book release that I had bought this book. I didn't even know that I bought his book. I just bought it. It turned out to be a book release of his, and in his thing he talked about, okay, here's this little spot in the universe, and you need a receptor to pick up on that spot. And this is the same spot. Everybody at the same time, your phone, my phone, your pager, my pager, the radio stations, the TV stations, CNN, Fox, everybody's in that little spot. You just got to tune into it, and then you get that information.
Yes.
So those spots are everywhere in the universe. They
Yes.
just need to be able to tune into that wave.
Yes, thank you. So let's put this into context as a means of comparison. If you have a satellite, a low Earth orbiting satellite, if my hand is a low Earth orbiting satellite, that satellite can send out signals to millions of cell phones, GPS units, satellite dishes, TV dishes, etc.
Yeah.
Well, if scalar energy is a universal satellite, then scalar energy as a universal satellite will keep in contact with everything, not only cell phones, but with every molecule in the universe.
So it's a matter of that receiver that can receive that scalar energy.
Yes. And here's a great thing, Brad. Everybody with a mind, your mind functions by scalar energy. Everybody with a heart, your heart beats by way of scalar energy. It should not be an esoteric subject. This is common. It's a universal subject, but it's poorly understood. Scalar energy is everywhere. My body, my mind is filled with scalar energy. It's an information system. Remember, I would cease to exist if every molecule in my body, if every thought did not communicate with every other molecule, with every other thought. There would be nothing but chaos.
Yeah, or you just ascend back into the cosmic soup, kind of like what was that? Oh God, I just lost the Celestine Prophecy. That book. Do you remember that book, Celestine Prophecy?
No, sir. I did not read it. No, sir.
Oh, it was fascinating. Because at first I saw it, I thought, oh, this is a spiritual book. Then I started reading it, and I'm going, this is fiction about, Peru and going through it and all the energy and the plants. All of a sudden going, this is real. I get it. Now I see. Now I understand all this stuff. I don't know why I told you that, but
it's fine. Those are the experiences you have. Now, as a new science, we have to theorize. We have to think outside the box. This is how any new science will develop, and that's what I've spent my life with. You cannot be timid. If this is a new science, then think boldly and act boldly. That's what I do.
Well, this energy that's out there, it's already there. The transmitter is already happening. We need to find the receiver so we can actually use this stuff, like what Tesla did.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Very cool.
So we see, what does this mean to mankind? Well, we really should not be using electromagnetic energy anymore. We should be using scalar energy, the free energy of the universe. It's free. It's from the sun and the stars. there is no pollution. There is no carbon footprint.
It's
It allows instantaneous communication. The signal can never be interrupted. It's capable of infinite intelligence. This should be the motivating force behind all industry today to work now with this new concept, scalar energy.
Well, this is fascinating. There's more to this topic. Perhaps we can do another one of these down the road, Tom.
Yeah.
We've gone for about 25 minutes. I try and keep these somewhat short so they're consumable by people, but we could do another one someday. So is there anything else you want to add? And I'll let you jump into the green room. We've got some wonderful digital hors d'oeuvres in there. Very late. Enjoy yourself.
I'm going to encourage your audience, go to the website, scalarlight.com.
Right there.
Anybody in the world can send in, you're going to email us a photograph. And in so doing, we'll balance your chakras, we'll identify and eliminate microbes, assemble nutrients. Try the process, experience it. It's free, there's no obligation. This is my way of introducing this new science to mankind.
Got it. So there it is, scalar light. Okay, I'm going to pop in. If you want to stay in the green room, I'll come back and visit. We can have another chat. Tom, thanks for taking the time.
Thank you.
There you go. I don't know about you, but I just love talking about this stuff. I'm 65 and I've been dabbling with it since I was a kid. I remember sitting by the beach and just watching this fountain, and my mind would start conceptualizing this stuff, but I never really had a name for it. Scalar light, scalar energy, Tom Paladino, and that's his website right there. You got it. Okay, that's it. If you want to learn more, you can tune in. Just Google the keyword Magic Brad. You'll find me. And if you want to know more about the Magic Brad Show, okie doke. Thank you very much. Peace, love, and happiness. Enjoy the rest of your day. Be good, be kind, be nice. Did I say be nice?